Let's do a walkthrough of what you can expect in this class and what the procedures will be. Now, in the online world, it's very important to establish specific weeks, distinct weeks, and that's what we have here. Every week begins at 8 a.m. Monday morning and ends at 11:59 p.m. Sunday night. This break of 8 hours between one week and another sets them each apart. All of the materials of the discussions and reflection have to be in before midnight on Sunday. That's just a drop-dead deadline. Sometimes with the bigger papers, it's possible to negotiate a different due date if you need it, but generally speaking, everything has to be handed in on time to receive credit. We will now take a look at the requirements for the course as they appear on our syllabus. So here's the work of this semester by percentage. We have the Discourse Community Project, which will be a study of a local group or a somehow limited group, either in person or online, which is people who are dedicated to your discipline. It's a discourse community in which people, a very limited number of people, talk about or share information about or otherwise engage with your discipline. This will be written over a period of weeks, and we'll have some examples of this, and that's worth 15% of your grade. At the same time, we're going to be having a disciplinary research memo. Now, that is a specific form. The memo is a specific form, and we'll have some assignments for both of these things. But basically, it's looking at how your discipline does research. Does it use APA format or MLA format or some other format? Who are the experts? How are the papers formatted generally? And a number of other concerns written as a memo form. Now, the memo form is a very specific form, and the form is very much of what that's about. Then when you begin your research project, which is going to be 35% of the entire grade, there's a 10% that's attached to that, and that's the annotated bibliography. We will look at the library materials. We will research a particular area of interest in your discipline that you would like to write up your project about. And just writing up an annotated bibliography, and again, there will be a specific assignment for this that explains it more, and we'll have some samples. That's worth 10% of the grade, and then the research project itself is altogether worth 35%. In addition, we will do a course portfolio in which all of these things are put together, and you will write an introduction at the very end of the class. All your work you have done throughout the class will be gathered together in one spot with an introduction, and that will be your portfolio. Now, because this is an online class, we want to continue engagement whenever we can. We will have weekly discussions you will be required to participate in, and weekly reflections you will be required to write. Each of those are worth 5%. Neither of those should take away too much time, but they are nevertheless going to be required, and they are essential to succeeding in this course. Now, I'd like to say a few words about the discussions and the reflections. They are pass-fail as far as that goes, so you have to complete them in order to get the credit. And it's very difficult to fail them. The way to fail them is not to provide the right number of words or to turn it in too late. Unfortunately, in the online environment, the deadlines have to be pretty stiff because if someone gets behind, that's not a good thing. So you'll need to make the assignment arrive on time, regardless of what it is, but especially the discussions and the reflections. Those have to be done on time because they cannot be made up. Once you've missed them, once you've missed the deadline, you lose out on those points. Now, altogether, all of the discussions added together only add up to 5% of the grade. So missing one or two won't do a lot of damage. Same way with the reflections. Nevertheless, if you'd like to get 100% in this class, that's one way to do it, is to complete every piece of work. The next thing I think we should talk about is the grading in this class. There's going to be a little something different about the grading here in that you will begin by fulfilling the assignment and getting on all of the essays and on the annotated bibliography, a C+. That is the baseline of fulfilling the assignment. If you do more than that and you would like to do better than a C on your grade, you can request a grade with a grade request that you attach to the end of each of those works. You'll be able to argue why what you did was more than just fulfill the assignment, how you managed to score a better interview, how you managed to find better sources. Whatever you say, it will support the idea that you deserve better than a C+, but a C+ is the absolute bare minimum of completing the assignment. You have to go a little extra, and I know you don't mind that because this is in your discipline. There are more procedures covered in the syllabus. I urge you particularly to look at the fact that late work will lose points until it's not worth anything anymore. So you'll want to make sure that you contact me if you're having any problem finishing any of the work. We can set up a deadline on an exceptional basis if we need to, but generally speaking, you're required to turn in your work on time. Now, let's go ahead and get started on the class. This welcome to week 1 is coming up, and we'll talk about what you need to do to get started in EN 281.